Before going to the second major sign of the day of Qiyamah, there was a Sahabi who witnessed a Dajjal. In a lengthy hadith that is mentioned in Sahih Muslim, عن عمران بن حسين قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما بين خلق آدم إلى قيام الساعة خلق أكبر من الدجال. There is no creation, the Prophet ﷺ said, there is no creation that is greater trial than the trial of a Dajjal. Imam Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah, when he was explaining about this qissa of this Sahabi who saw this creature, he says that the Prophet ﷺ sat on the pulpit laughing with joy and said, Tamim ad-Dari has told me a story that makes me happy, for it confirms what I have been telling you about Dajjal. What happened? Tamim ad-Dari radiallahu anh and 30 other men from Lakhm and Judam were on a ship when the sea became stormy for a month. They were washed ashore on an island at sunset. They were traveling, this Sahabi and 30 people. When the sea became very harsh, there was so much storm. For a month it pushed them until it took them to a certain island which is at a sunset. They met a creature so hairy they could not tell its front from its back, and it said, I am al-Jassa, which translates to I am a spy. Then he said, or I told them, to go to a man in the monastery who was eager to hear from them. Yani that they saw a creature, had so much hair, they couldn't know where is his backside and where is his front side. And he said, I am al-Jassa. But there is a man in the monastery who wants to meet you guys, go and see him. فلما دخلنا الديرة فإذا فيه أعظم إنسان رأيناه قط خلقا وأشده وثاقا مجموعة يداه إلى عنقه ما بين ركبتيه إلى كعبيه بالحديد. قلنا ويلك من أنت أو ما أنت؟ قال قد قدرتم على خبري فأخبروني ما أنتم. When they entered that monastery, they met this person and they said, when we entered the monastery, we saw the largest man we have ever seen, bound most strongly in fetters, with his hands tied to his neck, and iron shackles between his knees and his ankles. We said, woe to you, what are you? He said, you have found out about me, so tell me, who are you? They still didn't know who it was. But he told them, you have found out about me, now tell me, who are you? Now, Dajjal was asking who? Tamim ad-Dari, radiyallahu anhu. So the question of Dajjal, he asked about, aside from the conversation that they had, Dajjal was asking about had some questions he asked the Sahabas. He asked about the date palms of Basin in Palestine or in Palestine. Do they still bear fruit? They said yes. He said soon they will not. Then he asked about the lake of Tiberias, Sea of Galilee. Is there still water in it? They said yes. He said soon its water will disappear. He asked about the spring of Zughar. Is there still water and the people use it for irrigation? They said yes. He asked about the unlettered Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he asked, what has he done and what has the Prophet done? They told him he had emerged in Mecca and settled in Yathrib, which is known as Medina. He asked, did the Arabs fight him? They said yes. He asked, how did he deal with them? They told him he had prevailed. The man said he had prevailed, and he won the battle against the Arabs. Then the man said it is better for them to obey him. Dajjal is the one now telling Tamim ad-Dari about who? The Prophet ﷺ. And he's telling him what? It's better for the Arabs to do what? To obey who? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The revelation of identity. Then he revealed himself and said, I am the false Messiah. I will soon be permitted to emerge. I will travel throughout the earth and will not leave any town without entering it within 40 nights. So within 40 nights, he'll be able to travel the whole world. Every inch of this place, of this whole world, as he mentions, except Mecca and At-Tayba, which is Medina, for they are both forbidden to me. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. An authentic hadith. Then when the Sahabi came to the Prophet, they explained to him, the Prophet ﷺ sat on the pulpit at the beginning, as I mentioned. He sat on the pulpit and said, laughing with joy, and said, Tamim al-Dari has told me a story that makes me happy, for it confirms what I have been telling you about Dajjal. The Sahabas would say that the Prophet would warn us about Dajjal to a point that we would think he's behind the mountains. He's almost there. He used to warn us every now and then about him. The question comes now, where will Dajjal come out from? Dajjal shall come from a place known as Isfahan, which is currently in Iran, among 70,000 Jews, which if you go and search now, do your research, are they Jews living, or are there Jews living in Isfahan currently? Yes, they're there. And that's where Dajjal shall emerge from. And he'll be followed by this group of Jews, the 70,000 Jews, and the Rafidah. The Shi'as will also be part of supporting it. And that is a fact.